Hey guys, Eric here with another Ultimate Frisbee video. Today we're going to be talking about principles to apply to become a dominant downfield defender. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe and stick around till the end of the video to find out how you can win a greatest bag. Hey guys, Eric from the future here. A number of you guys have asked me where I've learned the concepts in my videos from. Almost all my current Ultimate knowledge can be attributed to the players, coaches and leaders of Sydney Sunder, the premier opens club in Australia. Today's video in particular features a lot of defensive ideas and concepts that I've learned from Alex Latamatos, who's represented Australia on countless occasions, including at the World Games in 2022. He'll also be vice-captaining the Aussie Dingoes at the World Ultimate Championships later this year. If you want to follow their journey ahead of WUCC, I'll leave both the Dingoes and Sunder's social media in the description below. Sweet, now let's get back to the video. Before we jump into my 3 principles on how to be a dominant downfield defender, we need to understand that there are many ways to be successful at defense, from a team perspective and from an individual perspective as well. Different teams have different strategies for different games, and different players will all have different ways to be effective. Each of our bodies behave slightly differently, so the way you find the most success will be different to the way I find the most success. With that being said, there are general principles that you can apply to your game to become a more dominant downfield defender today. The first principle is that we always want to be in an athletic position when we can. While we're in an athletic position, we want to be ready, but also relaxed. That means being ready to react, but also relaxed so that we don't bite or sell out too hard on the first move. An athletic position allows us to physically react and respond to the cutter's movement as fast as possible. Each person's optimal athletic position will be slightly different, but for most people, it will look something like this. You want to have your center of gravity a little bit lower, and you want to have your weight forward on the balls of your feet. You also want to have your feet roughly shoulder width apart, so you're able to go side to side. This position will allow your body to respond quickly and push off faster. This is a principle that you can apply in any defensive context, whether that's in the handler space, in the downfield space, or even if you're looking to poach or if you're playing zone defense. If you're in an athletic position, you're simply able to go from where you are to where you want to be faster. Here's an example. Say I'm marking up against this cutter. If I'm just standing up and tall and upright, I'm not able to cover a lot of ground as I'm going to have to push into the ground and then move, right? But if my weight is already loaded and I'm already in an athletic position, then I'm able to cover more ground in a shorter amount of time. Even if you're a wing or a deep in a zone, being in an athletic position means that you're able to make up more ground faster, and therefore the area that you can cover becomes larger. Secondly, footwork. There's 3 key footwork fundamentals that you'll want to master to become a dominant downfield defender. These are shuffling, strafing, and running. Mastering downfield defense is about perfecting the mechanics of these movements, and more importantly, perfecting how you transition between them. In a match defense scenario, your goal is to have your hips open at the point at which the offensive cutter decides to change direction. In an ideal world, we're always looking to shuffle or strafe with our offensive cutter so that when they change direction, our hips are already facing towards them so that we can change direction just as quick and look to defend that next space they're trying to get to. Obviously, we don't live in a perfect world. Sometimes cutters will run faster than we can strafe, so we'll have to run alongside them until the point they decelerate, at which point we'll try to decelerate as well, open up our hips and defend the next space that they're trying to get to. Doing drills that incorporate each of these movements, where you're working on the transition between these movements as well as the change of direction, will help you improve your defensive footwork the most. I find that keeping my body weight low and my weight forward helps me when I'm trying to transition quickly between these movements, as well as change direction out of these movements. The last principle applied to be a dominant downfield defender is to be able to quickly assess where the risk areas are on the field and then adjust your buffer accordingly. This is a defensive hack that I use probably more than I should to be more efficient with my effort and to play my odds when I'm downfield. What identifying risk areas or spaces on the field means is to figure out, depending on a number of factors, what areas on the field are easily accessible and what areas of the field are not. These factors might include what the force is, where the cutters are, who the thrower is, who the cutter is, how the wind's blowing, and so on. All these factors play into how I'm constantly repositioning on the field relative to my offensive player. In this context, I like to use the term overplay, which just means to prioritize stopping a certain option that you know their team wants. For example, if I'm marking downfield and I know the thrower that has the disc is not a big hucker, then I'll overplay the under. On the other hand, if I notice that a big thrower has got the disc, then I'm going to overplay the deep. If I know the person with the disc is strong at breaking the mark, I might respect the break side more. If I know that they're not, I might overplay the open side more. Another example is if I'm running with the cutter and I'm defending a space and the thrower proceeds to fake off that throw, I know that they're not likely to immediately throw to that space right after the fake. So what you can do as a defender is, as the fake occurs, you can decelerate at the same time or even before the cutter does, so that you can stay with them and start defending other higher risk areas on the field. Consistently applying this concept helps me become much more efficient as a defender when I realize an area is low risk, whilst informing me of the areas of the field that I can commit to more or make a play on, knowing that that space is high risk. So that's all for today. Apply these 3 principles to your game and hopefully you'll be able to become a better downfield defender in no time. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them down below, or you can ask them inside my new community where I'll be giving away a greatest bag to a new member. If you're interested, I'll leave the details in the description down below. That's all guys, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.